Fai Okowa, both have left the party, and right now, but prior to when they left, we saw the PDP coming out with a resolution, the PDP governors coming out with a resolution and a communique where their position stands as far as the polity is concerned in the People's Democratic Party. And we've also seen the Labour Party in the person of what they call Peter Obi and Governor Oti coming out to talk about what they also believe should be the status quo. We saw the march of the dual to go into the INEC office to present the Supreme Court judgment. But that has not deterred Adbure from stepping down from becoming, as the party chairman. Of course, Peter Obi was able to present Senator Nanadi Usman, who is loyal to Governor Oti. But then all of this conversation will try to put up what is the possibility of a coalition, even as it stands right now. Like I said before, joining me in this conversation is Charles Gold Nachi. And who is joining me. I will be doing justice to this conversation. But first, let me welcome you, Charles Gold Nachi, to a big talk today. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, God is Sunday. I'm happy to be here once again.
All right, Charles, let's look at this whole conversation of coalition between the Labour Party, Atiku on the PDP, Atiku on one hand, a Labour Party, Governor Oti, who has taken the central stage, even as it stands right now, as the only governor of the Labour Party. Let's look at the various coalition and the various factions that Labour's party has been divided into and where the position of the PDP stands right now. If you want to assess all of this right now, is there a possibility for there to be a coalition at all between the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party?
Well, thank you so much. I'm also happy to be here. I appreciate all the Nigerians who are watching us live. The issue of a coalition between Labour Party, PDP, and any other political party that are involved is not all about living where you are to form another political party. The major thing we need to ask ourselves is that what is the interest involved? The interest is what will matter. The interest. These people are coming from various political parties, and they have their various ambitions, various desires, expectations. So when with their various ambitions and expectations come together, what matters is, would they be able to put aside their interests, their ambitions, in order to form a formidable political party, in order to stand as a strong opposition party against APC, the ruling party. So if Labour Party, PDP, and we also heard about the SDP under Nasri El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State. So some time ago, some blog from CPC came out to say that they will still remain in APC. So someone like former governor of Nasarawa State, Amakora, and many of them. So they come up to say no, that they are still a loyal party member of APC. So now the issue is not forming a political party or a coalition party. The issue is that would they be able to put aside their interests, the political interests they have, their personal ambition, in order to be able to allow the interests of the majority to prevail, in order to give Nigeria a kind of a standing political opposition party. Right now in Nigeria, we don't have any form of a standing political party. In fact, Nigeria is sliding to a kind of one political party system. That's the problem. That is what Nigeria is heading towards. So if they will come together, and by the end of the day, what will now divide them will become their personal interests, their personal ambitions, desires. And by the end of the day, you see that they will still end up like other political parties has ended up with, just like PDP, APC, Labour Party. You just made mention a few minutes ago. So if they can come together and be able to put aside their personal interests and they have the interests of Nigeria, then their purpose of coming together will be achieved. But if they are coming with their personal interest, that means that their purpose of coming will not be achieved.
But can you take out the personal interest from a politician and also the national interest? Because they seem like a Siamese twins at this point, or don't you think so?
There is always a time as a politician, you will have to put aside your personal interest. There is always a time as a politician, you have to bury your personal interest, your personal ambition, and work towards the interest of the Nigerians. Work towards the interest of the majority. So not just having your personal interest. No. There's always a time you discover that you have been fighting for a personal interest, but now you need to put it aside. Let me work on the interest of the Nigerians. Let me work on the interest of the majority of Nigerians for the betterment of Nigerian system, not for your personal interest. Your personal interest you have achieved over the years. All these people who are coming together to form this coalition, they're already wealthy. They have achieved all they want. What else do they want again? What else? Is it just to seize power in order to oppress your opponent, to silence your opponent and to let them know that you're a Superman? No, that is not the reason. So if you will be able, they will be able to put aside their personal interests and work on the interests of the Nigerians, I can tell you that their purpose of coming will be achieved.
Well, Charles, let's look at this conversation again from another perspective. To an extent, Peter Obi, as it stands right now, has become a symbol of distraction for the Labour Party. So it seems, allegedly. Also, with Atiku Abubakar becoming a symbol of distraction, alleged symbol of distraction to the People's Democratic Party. For most people will say that Atiku should go and rest. And also some people will say Peter Obi should go and rest. But looking at this rainbow coalition, which seems like what is going to be, and CPC is saying that they are giving till May, ending of May, as a target for them to be actualize this whole coalition. PDP is not in agreement with the coalition. The governors have come out to speak. But then members of the BOT of PDP have not come out to say that whether they support or they disapprove this whole coalition. Neither have we seen, we've seen Peter Obi and Atiku have tete-a-tete, have conversations, but we don't know the outcome. But CPC is coming out right now to say, hey, there's going to be a coalition. With this in mind and creating this foundation, should we begin to thrust the judgment of Peter Obi and Atiku? And should we begin to look the other way around in order for us to forge ahead in our political development as a country?
Well, the truth is that if there will be a coalition, that one is certain. There will definitely be a coalition of political parties coming together to form a formidable party. Yeah. It's not about governors under PDP coming to say that they are not in support. Governors under PDP. Don't forget that Peter Obi, during last election, 2023 election, he stood out as only candidate without having the backing of any governor. And by the end of the day, he was able to get over 6 million votes. That is to say, it's all about the interest of the masses. It's not the interest of the governors. A governor has 1 vote, though he controls his state. But under his state, not everybody will follow him. Not everybody will be in agreement with his decisions. There are people who will still say, though you don't want to join the coalition, me, I'm interested. Me and my friends were interested. So we like this coalition. We want it to stand. Because this is only means we can be able to use to defeat the ruling party, APC government. So if there are people who are not interested, who are not supporting the coalition, now, Peter Obi had made it clear. They have been having several meetings with Mr. Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Erufai. Some time ago, I even saw Erufai going to Southeast to attend an event in Southeast. As a way of galvanizing the people of Southeast to let them know that he is part of them, in order to win their interest, so that they can get involved in this coalition political party that is coming up together in order to stand as an opposition party against APC. So all these things, I believe that definitely it will happen. Whether there is someone somewhere, a governor somewhere, a senator somewhere who is not in support, but those people who are interested, they will definitely carry on their plans, which will form as a formidable political party against APC, the ruling party.
But let's look at the fact that Peter Obi and Atiku have come out to test their strength, political will and political might. And we can't rule out that fact that both of them in the last 2023 elections were able to showcase what they stood for. But the masses were able to also decide what they wanted. Now, looking at all of this conversation, can you now say that Peter Obi and Atiku will be able to champion the cause of a coalition, knowing fully well that Peter Obi and Atiku were presidential candidates? I'd be proud of this time Peter Obi was the vice presidential candidate of Atiku. And right now, if there's going to be a coalition, it means that they have to collapse the structures where Peter Obi will likely emerge. But Atiku might likely not emerge as a vice president to Peter Obi. But if there is a twist in all of this, do you think that the coalition will stand if it's for the interest of Nigerian and not a personal interest?
Well, just like I've said before, I made it clear here, and I still want to repeat it again. If those who want to form the coalition of opposition party against APC, the ruling party, can be able to bury their personal interests and focus on the interests of the Nigerian people.
What you mean by very personal interest? You're saying that. What you mean by very personal interest? You're saying that Peter Obi should become the vice president if need be, or Atiku should become the vice president to Peter Obi if need be, since both of them have tested their popularity at the polls.
Well, the truth is that if this coalition party, these two notable men, notable figures, politicians, are coming together in the like of Mr. Peter Obi, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, and Nasri Erufai, former governor of Kaduna State, if they will decide to put aside their personal interest, number one, which I said before, because Atiku Abubakar have the interest of recontesting to be a presidential candidate under whether PDP or under the coalition party which they have tried to form. So if he can bury his personal interest and they kind of look inward and ask themselves the question, which zone have been marginalized? Which zone? Which political zone have been marginalized? Which zone can we use in order to kind of outrun the ruling party APC? Which zone? Now, let me make it straight. If Nasri, former governor of Kaduna State, Nasri Erufai and Mr. Atiku Abubakar can decide if really they want to win election, if really they want to defeat APC, if they can decide to say this Southeast, the Igbos, which have been marginalized over the years, if the Northerners can decide to throw their weight on Peter Obi, believe me, APC will be defeated. Mr. Tinubu will be defeated. But if Atiku Abubakar will still, a kind of, put his personal interest above the interest of the Southeast region, above the interest of the ordinary Nigerians, and by the end of the day, he will think that it will be easier for him to defeat APC, Tinubu. That will be difficult. But if the Northerners, the likes of Nasir Rufai, Atiku Abubakar, and every other prominent Northerners, politicians that can come together and say, let's throw our weight on the Igbos. Believe me, because Igbos have been longing to be president of this nation. So if they can throw their weight on the Igbos, the like of Peter Obi has so much followers. I repeat, P2B has so much followers. As I speak to you today, a lot of people are still waiting for him to declare his stand. Once he declares his stand, that will be the end of Labour Party. Once P2B, forget about what Julius Abure is still doing, dragging chairmanship position.
And but we can't take out the fact that Abure is still the chairman of the national
that.
chairman, even though you have 3 factions.
See, the truth remains that once P2B left, that will mark the end of Labour Party. Labour Party will be dead and buried.
No, Labour Party has been in existence. Mimiko was emerged from a Labour Party.
They have been existing,
yeah,
but nobody. They have been existing without having a voice.
Mama Papa Pekin has been existing long before.
Without having one single politician.
I just mentioned Mimiko, Mimiko from Ondo State.
Immediately he left, that was the end of it.
That
was the end
members of the Mama Papa Pekin family will definitely not agree with you on this.
See, the truth remains that P2B remains the Labour Party. Remove P2B, Labour Party is dead.
All right, let's move on away from that conversation. Let's talk about the fact that the Labour Party, which you've said Peter Obi represents the Labour Party, and to a very large extent, he is even the face of the party as it stands right now. But again, you've said that if Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State and former president of Nigeria, and also the former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the person of Atiku, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, should allow the likes of Peter Obi to emerge in order to give the Southeast a voice in the political terrain of Nigeria. But going by this, don't you think that by this whole angle of the conversation, we will be playing to the card of ethnicism other than patriotism?
You know, politics is strategic game.
Okay.
If you want to play politics, you have to play it in a strategic way. You know, just like mathematics has formula. It has formula. So once you miss any formula, you miss the result of the mathematics. You miss the answer of the question of the mathematics. Now, in Nigeria today, the question is which tribe, which political zone have been marginalized? Which political zone are crying foul?
But this brings us back to the ethnic card. If we say we are doing a coalition and we're talking about ethnic card, sorry.
Politics is local.
Okay.
Don't understand me. Politics is local. And there is also kind of ethnicity in politics. Yeah, you can't remove ethnicity in politics. So the truth remains that if coming together of Nasir El-Rufai, P2B, and the Atiku Abubakar is just to seize power for the Northerners, I tell you, they will not succeed.
Okay.
If they are coming together, their aim of hustling to form a coalition of an opposition political party against the APC. Don't forget what made the Minister of FCT, Mr. Wike, not to give support to PDP candidate, Mr. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, was because he said that Northerners, they have rule. And according to the PDP laws or constitution, power must be rotated between the North and the South. So if the Northerners have taken their share, and you come back and say, let the Northern people continue, let the Northern bloc continue, you are being partial. And the other tribe will not sit back and be clapping for you, and you expect them to give you their support. They will not. Now, looking at the political system, the Northern have taken their share. The West have taken their share during the time of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. So it's only the Southeast that have not taken their own share.
And not just the Southeast, we also have the Northeast too that have not taken its share.
You call it Northeast. You call it Northeast. But when I talk about Northerns, all of them are under North. That's what I mean. Just like when we come to Southeast.
The North will say all the people in the South too are South.
But they will not be too correct. Now, the truth remains that if they look back, they discover that it's only Southeast that have been marginalized. Southeast region. So if they are coming together, will be Northern, we are taking our share. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's be sincere to ourselves. Now, if we find another Northern person, that means we have given the APC the easy ride. We are giving the APC the easy ride. Tinubu has much followers. I repeat, President Tinubu, the Jagaban, has much followers. You can't defeat him. And he is very, very strategic when it comes to politics. That's why you see that he planted everybody in every state. He planted so many politicians in various states.
Allegedly planting politicians.
No, that is true.
No, allegedly planted politicians.
He has senators in various states.
We can't say that authoritatively.
He has supporters in various states.
And we can say he has supporters.
The man is strategic.
Okay, but then the PDP and the Labour Party too are strategic in their own plans too.
If they are strategic, then the idea should be, let's file in someone from Southeast, the region that have been marginalized. Let's give them a voice. Let's stand by them. See, nobody ever win presidential election in Nigeria without the support of the Northerners, because they have the largest bloc in this country. So that's why when you want to make laws and the Northern senators are not in support, or senators, Northern House of members are not in support, that means the policies want to say will not get through because they are much in number. So if they can come with the population and say we are still standing for Southeast or for the certain people to control ruling because we are taking our turn, I tell you, President Tinubu will find it difficult to return back in 2027. I'm telling you. So, but if they want to present or push their personal ambition and say, hey, Northern should continue by Atiku Abubakar coming. In fact, the question is, if I'm Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President of Nigeria, I'll bury my personal interest. I want to shock APC.
But he still have a personal, agenda for Nigeria. He still have growth policies for Nigeria. He still has a blueprint that he wants to implement for Nigeria.
The agenda should not be now.
The agenda is...
Northern have taken that on.
The agenda is for...
his agenda for
no, Atiku agenda is for Nigeria and not necessarily for his personal interest. He still has goals for Nigeria. He has economic blueprints. Of course, I've read a few of his blueprints for Nigeria. He has a personal growth drive for Nigeria, and some of his policies are very, very articulate. And most of his supporters will say is that they are articulated. And we're hearing this from you, no offense, but they might just be saddened to hear that Atiku should bury his own personal interests. Or don't you think so?
The truth remains that you are a Nigerian. You are a kind of your tribe before being a Nigerian. I'm from Ebonyi State. I'm from Igbo. So I am Igbo first before being a Nigerian. Now, you can't tell me that it's only in the northern region that to have somebody that has a kind of agenda for Nigeria, to rule Nigeria, that is only northern.
Atiku is a detribalized Nigeria. His wives are from different parts of the country. So if you want to go by that northern access, we'll say that Atiku is largely also from the east because it's your in-law. Don't you think so?
Well, being my in-law, that was the same card he played during the 2023 election by filing, picking Ifeanyi Okowa, former Delta State governor, to be his vice presidential candidate. You know, he was like, since Ifeanyi Okowa is from the Igbo tribe, Igbo side of the south, that through him he can be able to gain support from the south region. But Igbos had to tell him, no, we want a true Igbo. We want somebody who from Igbo land. No be somebody by Igbo land by mistake. You know, that people who are from Igbo land by mistake. Or Igbo land by migration. They just migrated from Igbo land. You know, from other side, they just migrated to Igbo land. No. So Igbo people need someone from Igbo land. So not just Northern that has ambition for Nigeria. There are qualified, educated Igbos, politicians. We have the like of Ojus Okalo, former governor of Abia State. We have P2B. We have so many of them to mention. In fact, we can even file Alex Oti, who is doing well, who is doing great well in Abia State. These are great leaders, potential presidential candidates we have from the Igbo land. We had the last of Obi Ezeko. You know, there was that she contested for presidential election.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You know, former minister of is that education? Yeah, minister of education. That's what I mean. So these are intelligent. What about our minister of finance, former minister of finance, and Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala? That's what I mean. So we have great people from Igbo land. So you don't tell me that it's only Northern that have qualified people that has as aspiration, that has something to offer to Nigerians. No, I'll not accept that. So have qualified men and women in Igbo land. We can choose to pick them. It's not to silence or bury APC. So if the coalition idea is to fight in another Northern politician, let me tell you, that vision, that idea is already dead on arrival.
But then we've not, if you say it's dead on arrival, and the coalition seemed to be a must, because this was how the All Progressive Congress emerged as the presidential candidate, speaking about the person of Muhammadu Buhari, how he emerged as the president. But then if fielding for a Eastern candidate for the development of Nigeria is a necessity, one would have thought at this point that APGA would be part of the coalition, championing the cause of the coalition as against what we see in the CPC, the PDP, the Labour Party, surreptitious conversations around filing for a candidate. We've not heard APGA, which happens to be the central melting point for the Eastern political agenda, come out to talk about a coalition or even joining any coalition. So can we now say at this point in time that the APGA not joining in a coalition or talking about coalition simply means that APGA also doesn't believe that the eastern part of Nigeria has a candidate that can be presented or filled in electionary processes, or a qualified candidate that can contest and win Nigerian elections even as it stands right now. Looking at it from a general picture, that APGA is not even coming out to speak, and you are agitating for the East to be given a chance in the presidential election. But your party, which is regionally centric in the East, is not speaking up to this. Charles, look at its x-rays from a various angle. Can we now say to a very large extent that if the party is not supporting, Eastern party is not supporting the East, shouldn't we be looking the other way around? If people from the South looking at other political parties from the North that are saying, oh, let's push for a coalition now to get power away from Tinubu because he's not doing what he ought to do, shouldn't we listen to them and at least give them a chance to form a coalition and lead as it stands?
Well, on the side of APGA, which is a political party that have been, existing over the years and a kind of welcome by the Igbos. The truth remains that, APGA was formed by Odimegwu Ojukwu, late Ikemba of Nnewi. And I don't think that, that party is still existing in a kind of remembrance of Odimegwu Ojukwu, the man that fought for.
But it has not lost elections in Abia State. I'm sorry, in Anambra State. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I don't think that such a political party which they are holding, or Igbo people are holding in high esteem, and also using it to do a kind of remembrance of late Ikemba of Nnewi or Odimegwu Ojukwu, the Biafran warlord. Now I don't think that they would like to a kind of bury that political party in the form of joining a coalition party. A coalition is like burying your personal name to have another name. That's a coalition. You have to collide. So your name will be buried forever. So I don't think that Igbos would like to risk it, because that APGA party is a party that was formed by Odimegwu Ojukwu.
So what if other parties, what if other political parties right now also are formed in other warlords' name, and in order to defend their own warlord name, where do we go from here?
That's such a very big question, and also challenging too. is very, very challenging. So, but we never can tell. You know, the 2027 is a bit far away from now. You know, anything can change.
So coalition starts 2 years before. Most coalitions that happen in Nigeria start almost 2 years before the election. I know by next year is a pre-electionary year.
Yeah, don't forget that we have a kind of a governor in that state, which is
Charles Soludo, yeah.
Charles Soludo of Abga. Don't forget that he is recontesting. That should be by November this year. Yeah, for his second tenure in office. So I don't think that he will, because right now he's the leader of the party. The governor of Anambra is the leader of Abga.
In Anambra State.
In Anambra State.
Not nationwide.
No, I think according to political parties, once they're able to produce a governor, the governor will be a kind of overseeing what is happening in the nation. Just I mean, not the political, not the statewide. So I think that right now he's the leader of the political party. Just like Alex Oti, he's the leader of Labour Party. Because he's the only governor under Labour Party. So anything Julius Abure is doing, once Alex Oti takes his stand, all the effort of Julius Abure will be null and void. So the truth is that Charles Chukwuma Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, will want to recontest first under his political party. So he will not want to kind of jeopardize his political party, the party of the Igbos, for any form of coalition for now. Maybe after he must have won his election. That's what I mean. So if there is any coalition agreement, which I don't think he will be able to go into that. I don't think so. For now, I don't think so. So let's wait until he win his second term in office. Let's wait until he win. So after he must have win, we'll be able to know if Abga will find it interested. Don't forget, being the political party of formed by Igbos, before they will give in, the question will be, what will be given to the Igbos? And you come and tell them that Igbos will be given a Senate president, or Igbos will be given a Speaker of the House of Assembly, or Igbos will be given a Secretary to the Nigerian government. That vision will be dead on arrival. They will just withdraw because they are not ready to play a kind of what do you call it, spare tire to any other region. Igbos are not ready to play a spare tire to another region. So if the coalition will be, okay, let's say that they will not show the idea to Labour Party, to Abga, and bring the interest of Chukwuma Soludo, and we're able to let him know that Igbo man is going to be fed as a candidate. Believe me, Chukwuma Soludo, who is also fighting for the interest of the Igbos, believe me, he will match with his Abga to the coalition party.
All right, so let's look again at this coalition as it stands. Some persons will say that the coalition tend to be more of kicking President Bola Tinubu out of office as against providing a leadership for Nigeria because of the excruciating rate of poverty and other form of vices Nigerians have experienced so far. But when you want to assess it as from your own lens, what do you think that this coalition is largely all about? Kicking President Bola Tinubu out of office or to drive the leadership of Nigeria?
Well, the truth is that the masses are hungry. The masses are suffering. To tell you the truth, there's hunger everywhere. So if there is any other political party that can give us alternative, Nigerians are ready to give such a political party support. So if the purpose of forming this political party or this coalition is to restore back food, restore back the Nigerian economy, restore back security. Look at insecurity everywhere. People are dying on a daily basis. So things are very difficult. Things are very difficult. House rent is very high, mostly here in Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, every other state of the country. So if they are coming together, will be like APC, we have tried you from the starting of former President Muhammadu Buhari. And you failed. Now we have tried Mr. Tinubu, and they didn't give us what we want. So if the coalition party is coming together with the interest of restoring back the economy, security, restoring back hope, we are told that this is a renewed hope. Renewed hope. Though we shouldn't conclude here because I think Mr. President have about 2 years ahead. Yes, 2 years ahead to a kind of deliver his renewed hope agenda to Nigerians. Maybe before his first tenure will finish or will elapse, you'll be surprised to hear that food price has come down. Security, insecurity have been dealt with. Economy have been restored. Everything has come back to normal. I'm telling you, even if they form the coalition party, they just will be like, this man that are giving us this hope. He said that his agenda is to renew hope of Nigeria. Don't forget that before he came, you know that Nigerians have lost hope in APC. So that's why he came with that renewed hope. He said, yes, you people gave us hope. We gave people hope when we were campaigning in 2015. And you people voted for us. Now, you look as if under the 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari leadership, all hope is gone. People have lost interest on APC. So now, President Tinubu said, please don't lose interest on APC. We are coming back to renew back the hope people entrusted on us. The hope is coming back. So I think this is his 2 years down the line. If the hope are not be renewed, maybe we should kind of allow him for the next 2 years to finish up his renew hope agenda. I'm telling you, if he can be able to renew back the hope, that means no need for coalition party coming together. All the coming together will be a waste of effort. Because Nigeria will be like, this man promise of renewment of hope, and he was able to do it. No need of trying another political party. Let's control with the man. So it will not be like somebody falling from fire to frying pan.
All right, Charles, before I let you go, let's x-ray and try to do a future prediction on this coalition. So far, looking at it the way it is. If let's play little bit of draft on it. If Peter Obi does not emerge as the presidential candidate from this coalition, let's say, for example, El Rufai emerge as the presidential candidate for this election, do you think that, what's your take on the outcome of the 2027 election? General take, if any other candidates emerge, even from the south, knowing fully well Adebayo, which is of the Social Democratic Party, is also a presidential candidate, and he also want to probably align his thoughts. Of course, he have come out to say severally that he's not part of the polity, and he won't be able to go through with some of this coalition. But if Peter Obi does not emerge in this coalition, and some other person from the south or the southeast or the southern part of Nigeria that is credible emerge, do you see the coalition being able to overturn the victory of President Bola Tinubu come 2027?
Well, the truth remains that before Atiku Abubakar and Mr. Nasir Rufai and Peter Obi plan to come together to form a coalition political party against the ruling party APC, the question is, what is their dream? What is their reason of forming the political party? So if their dream is to win APC come 2027, overthrow APC, overthrow President Muhammad Tinubu, if these are their dreams, then the next question should be, how do you go about it? Now, if they think on that direction, how do you go about it? And by the end of the day, they now fall back to say, okay, we need a northern person to remove Tinubu. That means that their purpose of forming a coalition is in vain. Will be unachieved. I repeat, it will be unachieved. But if they are coming together is to say, we want to refile somebody from southeast or someone from south, in fact, mostly southeast. Mr. Peter Obi, without any governor, without any state supporting him,
won so many states, including FCT here. In fact, as I speak to you now, if election is done in FCT 100 times, P2B will still win FCT. I repeat, if election is being done, FCT is being populated by Igbos. I'm telling you, all the investments, how many buildings in FCT, Igbos own, if not 75% of all the buildings in FCT here. So if the election is a kind of organized again 10 times, 100 times, P2B already has more than 6 million votes. In fact, the next election he will add more votes. So if the coalition, the idea of the coalition is to win and overthrow APC, the ruling party, and they decide to find any person who is not P2B from the region, from a tribe that have been marginalized over the years in the political system of Nigeria, and they end up finding somebody from the north. You don't need someone to tell you what to be the outcome. The outcome has already shown by itself that they will not succeed. They are heading towards a kind of disarray, you know. They are heading towards towards failure. Let me use that word. Failure will come their nearest name.
Wow, Charles Gold Naji, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of Big Talk today. Of course, you've been able to talk big and talk loud, and we can hear you loud and clear. I believe Nigerians out there can make a decision for themselves even at this point. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Charles, this evening.
Thank you so much. It's always my joy to be here on the political platform.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go this evening on a Big Talk, even here on Global Television. Don't forget that you can join in the conversation and follow us on our various conversation on our social media right now displayed on the screen using at Global TV NG. You can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app on your Android and iOS devices. So